Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. Happy Tuesday night to you, and welcome to Got Your Back Live post-game edition. 8-4 win and a hell of a third period from the Edmonton Oilers. And what a night from Connor McDavid. 6 apples. Career high for number 97. Jason Strudwick, Rob Brown, both joining tonight to break down the game. And as always, our podcast brought to you by our fabulous title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. Got to check out their massive, beautiful showroom just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. The number one GMC dealership in all of Canada. Volume-wise, 6 years and running. It's easy to see why, right? They got trucks in stock. They got cars in stock. And they can get them in short order if they don't have exactly what you need. Staff is great. The process is streamlined. Mention Got Your Back sent you when you go in. You'll get specialized pricing and 3 free ultimate detail packages. www.gmcpod is the website to check out all they have to offer. In our long shot studio tonight, but really looking forward to Thursday night when we will be on location for a post-game podcast. Come say hello. Enjoy the game on their big screen, order from their NHL menu, and have a cold one all game days. Happy hour with $5 long shots lager, and we're going to give away some hats that night as well. All right, we welcome the fellas in. Jason Strudwick is here. Rob Brown. We got Brownie on the phone. Hey, Brownie, you there, buddy?
I am here. I'm excited.
You're here and you're thrilled. You're thrilled. Struds, I got to ask you, buddy, how are you feeling after just an absolute beat down on Twitter from Jack Michaels tonight, buddy? He dropped the hammer on you pretty good, man.
Oh, it wasn't even that bad. I mean, come on. I've been hit harder by a mosquito. I mean, geez, it's like,
I don't know, Brownie. I thought it was a pretty good shot. I thought it was pretty solid.
It made me laugh. I didn't realize that Struds had been on so many of those lists. That's kind of cool. We talked tonight, Peter Stastny's name's on all these Connor McDavid ones. Well, you're on the Cody Ceci one, Struds. That's pretty cool.
it's a glancing blow. A glancing blow.
For those who didn't see it, Jack Michaels at Edmonton Jack tweeting, CC snaps 126-game drought. No surprise to see Jason Strudwick on another goalless list, 136. He's also top 3 in Canucks history. I told you, Struddy, I'd get you. But yes, I did take 2 weeks off and then quit golf. Briefly. That was, you know what, though? That was an epic line. He should take 2 weeks off and then quit. That was good, Strud. I still think you got the upper hand.
No, but I mean, let's just be honest. Like, I played a really hard area to score. Like, it was the dead puck era, and somehow I managed to find it to get it out.
Oh, man. That's awesome. So much to get to from tonight's game, guys. What a performance from Connor McDavid. How about that third period in general? Just some really impressive stuff. So let's get right to our breakdown tonight. Brought to you by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store. Founded in 1939, just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. All aspects of your wardrobe they can help you out with, right? Shirts, sweaters, shoes, casual clothes, suits, whatever you want. They can do customs as well. They've got in-house tailoring. Visit MrDirk.com. Connor McDavid spoke after the game, Struds, and he had disdain and disgust almost in his voice when he talked about his team's second period, right? He was not happy. They were not happy. And I think the only place to start is that third period, and McDavid with just an incredible performance on the night, but in that third period.
Well, they did two things. They stopped having ill-advised pinches, and then if they were pinching, the forwards were backing them up. But then the offensive zone, they started forechecking. And guess who led that? 97. He was forechecking like crazy. So those two things, you know, they're not hard to do. They're more hardworking, and it's attitude. And when you get it done and you surround that with skill, Brownie, you rattle off, 5 goals in the third period.
Well, I think that second period might have been the worst second period the Oilers have had in 3 months.
And that's
And
saying something because their seconds haven't been great.
no, and you throw in the fact that Connor said he was disgusted with the second period. He may have been, but he would have been ecstatic with the fact that they were tied because they should have been down 5-3 after 2. Like, they were not in that game. Stuart Skinner kept them in the game. But in all honesty, the Connor McDavid's brilliance tonight disguised an average performance at best by the Oilers. I know the Oilers had the great third period, but did the Oilers have the great third period, or did Connor? It just was not. It wasn't a great night for the Oilers. They got 2 points. They moved up in the standings, but this was on the back of Connor McDavid. When he was on the ice, the Oilers were great. When he wasn't on the ice, it was not a performance that usually wins you hockey games. They won tonight because McDavid was sensational and Stuart Skinner gave him a chance.
Degree of difficulty on that spinorama assist, Brownie?
Well, for Connor, that'd be a 6 out of 10. For Strudy, that'd be a 15 out of 10. The thing that's so great about that spinorama, there will be players in the league that can do a spinorama. But the great ones, Connor McDavid, we've seen Denny Savard in my era would do it. The great ones, they do the spinorama, and when they come out of it, they already know what they're going to do with the puck. If Strudy or I did that out with a grade 6 kid, we would spin. We'd be so shocked that we still were standing and had the puck on our stick, we wouldn't be able to make the next play. That's what sets it apart. The fact that he made the spinorama, lost his check, and then without looking, put a backhand pass right on the stick of Evander Kane. Kane did not have to move his stick. That's what made it so special.
Let's be honest, though. Honestly, he ran out of options. That's the only thing he could do. I would have made a better pass earlier that would result in a goal as well.
There was no plug he was going around there. Wasn't that Marie Sider he went around there? That was no plug.
Yeah,
no.
It was. Sider's going to be a fantastic defenseman in this league. He already is, and he's going to be great for many, many years. But tonight, he saw what it's like going head-to-head against Connor McDavid all night. And I think it might take him a day or two to recover from it because McDavid made it a mission tonight to put that kid in his back pocket and just, slap him around. That was as good as McDavid has played, and Sider, unfortunately, had a front row seat to it most of the night.
Yeah, that Sider's an interesting player. I think he's actually just maybe a little bit more skilled Jacob Trouba because he plays really hard. He's got a really good shot.
Yep.
A couple times tonight, got that puck off really quick. I don't know if he's going to have the massive offensive numbers that we're seeing from some of these other guys, but probably going to be just an absolute stud. Just eats minutes and is really hard to play against for a long time.
We'll talk about the tweaks that Chris Knoblock made to his lineup. We'll do that in our takeaways segment. I want to focus on the even strength scoring because that was an area that they had been talking about over the last couple of days, Struds. In their loss to LA and their loss to Vegas, didn't have an even strength goal. Well, they explode for 8 even strength goals tonight. And, it was a focus, right? So I think it can, this can be a breakthrough scenario for them with that even strength scoring, because when it goes cold, it can be a little bit hard to get back. And this was a bit of a statement at even strength here.
Yeah, and you know what it was? It was throughout the lineup. That's what I like the best about it. To start the game, you got Cody Ceci unleashing the hounds from the blue line. You've got Nugent Hopkins scoring from distance. But I think after that, most of the goals were all pretty close. They're in the blue paint. Nugent Hopkins goes off his foot. You got Hyman just right around the net, taps it in after a nice play from Leon. Like, all those goals are right around the net. And when you're struggling, get closer to net. There's rebounds there to make it happen. Then the rest of your game seems to open up from that. It's not usually that you score from distance and then all of a sudden the close game opens up. So I like that it was spread out through the lineup, Brownie, and I also like the locations they scored from.
Well, I do like the location they score from. I like the fact that they're hanging out in the right spots. But when you say throughout the lineup, it was throughout the lineup when they were with Connor. Because Connor was on for 7 of the 8 goals. So they created. Holloway scored. It was off a play that Connor made. Ceci scored. It was off a play that Connor made. So as much as there's guys benefited, all of this was generated by Connor McDavid. So that's why I say that this was a great comeback win for the Edmonton Oilers. But Connor was so good in this game, it masked the fact that it was on the back of Connor McDavid. Like even the goal that Draisaitl threw on net, and who was it that got it back door? That
Nuge.
When Connor got their Nuge, yeah. That was because McDavid was chasing down the defenseman who threw it away backhanded right to Leon Draisaitl. So Connor McDavid's fingerprints were all over every goal tonight. They weren't generating things when he wasn't on the ice. And that's a big reason that Chris Knoblock, as you're going to talk about in the next segment, changed the lines. It was Connor McDavid. When he was on the ice, they were dominating play. When he wasn't on the ice, the Oilers weren't generating a whole lot. And Chris Knoblock had to go to the blender in the third period to try and find something different.
Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox real quick here. Dylan Holloway, who scored an important goal tonight, diving, banging one in, then wiping out his captain, was asked about a 6-apple night from Connor McDavid.
No, I'd say he's pretty dialed as per usual. I know from the moment the puck drops, the moment the final buzzer rings, he's pretty dialed in. And but it comes from a lot of his preparation. Like he's like that every day at practice, every workout, he's dialed in. So I think it was only a matter of time before he popped off like that.
The 3-1 goal was interesting. Did you guys notice? So McDavid was at the tail end of a shift, and he was heading to the bench. And he actually, like when McDavid goes to the bench, he pops his mouth guard out. So he popped his mouth guard out and was kind of strolling to the bench, and the D-man decided to quick up to him. And he turned and he saw the puck coming, so he popped the mouth guard back into his mouth, took the pass with one hand, got it into the offensive zone, and a few seconds later, Evan Bouchard scored the goal. Brownie, I don't know if you picked that up watching in the building, but he popped his mouth guard back in and took the pass with one hand.
There were two really cool things that happened on goals tonight, and that's the first one. You're right. I saw that. He was going to the net, or going to the bench. He took out his mouth guard, and Bouchard was the guy that threw the puck up to him. And it's like, oh, geez. And then McDavid, I don't think he had any thoughts of an offensive play. I'll take it in, and all of a sudden, I beat my guy. And then the McDavid effect, everyone's staring at Connor. Bouchard slides in wide open. So I saw that. The other really cool thing that happened in the game tonight on a goal, on Leon's goal, there was a puck that came up to the point to Cody Ceci. He hand passed it. The puck went down. Leon Draisaitl was there, saw it, knew that he couldn't touch the puck, turned his body, got positioning to allow Cody Ceci to come back, touch the puck with his stick, and move it back to the boards. That play would have been dead had Leon Draisaitl touched it, but right away he knew that Cody had to touch it, and he waited and positioned his body so that Cody would be the first guy to get to the puck. Just small little plays with Leon and Connor that turned into goals a little bit later on in the shifts.
That's some cerebral stuff, Strudy.
It's pretty deep. And of course, he talked about the offensive stuff. Let's get to the stuff that actually impacted the game. No, just kidding. But I'm just kidding, Brownie. No, the penalty kill. I think that the penalty kill is something that you have to talk about. I know that Knoblock was asked post game, but that's 5 games that's 5 goals in 3 games against.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big deal. And when you look at the 2 goals, 2 lost draws right off the hop, and then the Oilers, I don't think they got it out either time. And well, the one time it was like 10 seconds. You can still hear the ref's whistle echoing for blowing down the penalty. It was that quick. But it's you're not going to just go crazy and change everything. But I think it's to use your words, Shagar, it's notable that it's 5 goals in 3 games against, and it's really it looks a little bit shell shocked right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. What I would say is that when the game was very much on the line and in the balance, they got a massive kill. And I can't help but wonder if that can be a jumping off point, Brownie, to getting back to finding the success they had, because Struds, it's a great point. They were porous. It was letting them down. They were banging in all these even strength goals and couldn't kill a penalty to save their life. But that one at the end, Brownie, I thought was super clutch.
Well, we always talk about power plays. It's not your percentages when you get the power play. In a big moment, does your power play come through for you? And we've seen that time and time again. Well, the same thing tonight with the penalty kill. Yeah, the first, Detroit picked them apart on the power. Their first two power plays made it look easy, but the one moment in the game that it actually mattered, the Oilers. I mean, Detroit didn't get a sniff. They didn't get it. I don't know if they even got a shot on net on that one. So I do believe that was a big kill, a big moment, and the Oilers came up big. And on that one, they had to do it without one of their best penalty killers. Ekholm was the guy in the box.
For sure. But that penalty kill was such a strength for them, Struds, through that winning streak. And they've really turned it around in the right direction here. And for it to have been a weakness the way it has recently was a big change. So I don't know. You know, without Matthias Janmark in, they take a bit of a hit on the kill. And they let in a couple tonight. What are you seeing, Struds? Like, Patrick Kane's a good player, man. He's going to seam you now and then, but they were getting seamed tonight.
Yeah, they were. And it was multiple times. It was zipping back and forth through that whatever you want to call it, diamond or 1-2-2.
Yep.
So this is what I think. I think you guys make a really good point, both of you, about the timing of their last kill. I think that Mark Stewart and company go back and let's look at the goals against. Let's see what we can do better. This isn't to beat anybody up, but let's just look at the five. What can we do different? There's got to be some commonalities here, some things we've seen. Obviously, when you're zipping pucks through the box or the diamond or whatever, your stick probably is in the right place. Maybe a little bit too spread out. And I thought when they're doing a good job, they were staying pretty tight and allowing the puck to be passed around and not through Brownie.
Well, I think one of the things, too, that the Oilers tried getting the puck out, and Seider made an unbelievable job blocking the puck with his chest. Derek Ryan sees, you know what? I might be able to poke this by him for a breakaway. When he goes out, Seider makes a fantastic pass, backhand, across to the far side to keep the puck in. And now the Oilers are a little bit disjointed. They're a little stretched out. That allows pucks to go back and forth between. So Seider makes a nice play. Ryan gambles a little bit, and all of a sudden the Oilers are chasing. But I agree. There were times when during this long stretch where they were so good on the kill that maybe one or two should have gone in, but they got the save or the post. And then here tonight, puck found the back of the net. And these things happen, but it's something they don't want to let creep into their game. Their penalty killing has been winning them hockey games. They don't want to lose the mojo they have on their kill.
So Connor McDavid totally stole the thunder from Cody Ceci tonight, right? Cody Ceci finally scores a goal at long last, and we haven't even said his name yet. I think we've said it once on the podcast. It's what happens when you play on a team with Connor McDavid. That'll happen. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox, though, and hear from Cody Ceci. A reminder to check out Weiss Johnson's Scratch and Dent sale. Up to 20% off units with minor imperfections, and all in-stock air conditioners are also 25% off. Sale ends this Thursday, the 15th. Visit www.weiss-johnson.com for details. Jingle. Cody Ceci, postgame.
I wasn't sure. I mean, there was a couple guys in front, so I went and asked him. He's like, I didn't feel it. So, yeah, I think it ended up being mine. But, yeah, I think everyone's been great with me around that situation. I mean, it took a while to score it, so no one really made fun of me or anything. They were just always there to pick me up, and I think they were happy to see one going.
Okay, so we have the benefit of two perspectives on this podcast. Very different perspectives here. So, Brownie, I'll ask you first. How exciting is it for a group when Jason Strudwick at long last finally scores a goal and everybody, has been waiting for it. Everybody's been hoping for it. And Strud's, a beloved person in the room, finally gets one to go. That had to lift up the group when Ceci scored.
Well, if it was Strud, I mean, you'd have to get over the shock first that he scored a goal. So once you got over the shock, you'd have excitement for him. No, you'd be pumped. Honestly, you would seriously be pumped that he did. I mean, and I know that Connor talked about it in his presser afterwards, saying, no, we know that Cody Ceci's not here to score. He's been here. He's been solid on the defensive pairing. He and Nursey have been going against the other team's top players. He does all the little things right. We get what we get from Ceci, and we're excited about it. But it is good for him to score that goal. And, yes, it's when a fighter scores a goal, when a fourth liner gets a goal, but when a defensive defenseman who does all the little things without the credit scores a goal, you are excited. So that dressing room would have been pretty pumped for Cody Ceci tonight.
Okay, Struds, take us to the other side of that whole thing. And again, like Ceci's an honest player. He's not there to score goals, and frankly, neither were you. But when you get one to go after a little while like that, that's got to feel pretty awesome.
Well, it's usually a surprise. Like, we're being completely honest. You're kind of surprised it went in. And I think that for Ceci, like that one, let's be honest. It's not like it's a backdoor tap in. It was from distance, and it went through, I think, off of Red Wing and then through Nuge's legs and into the net. So you're not sure. So it's like you're happy, like, but you don't usually see it go in. And you're happy, and then you just feel the energy around the room, and I think it's really positive. Then it resets your counter to 0 days without an accident, which is nicest. I'll say this. I remember I was playing the minors. My second year in the minors, I hadn't scored, and I shot a puck from the point. Same thing. Who knows how it went on. And everyone said it was mine, except for one guy. A Russian player on our team said it hit him. And our guys lost it on him. This guy, I don't even remember who he was. And I think he scored a few goals, but who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. But he claimed he was dead set that it hit him. And the guys were just losing it in the room. I didn't really care. I was like, whatever, I'll just slash him when he's on another team next year.
What do they call that? Chiseling? Is that a chiseler, Struddy? Yeah. Is that the word for that?
I don't know. It's just bad karma. Just bad karma.
100%.
He's probably fat now.
Let's get to our UK. Did you say he's probably fat now?
Oh, that's karma. Yeah. He's eating his guilt.
You know what, Strud? You know what, Strud? I bet that Russian goal scorer, I bet you he lets his kids wear their shoes at the dentist office too.
Oh, man. In on the Weiss Johnson YouTube stream, Double A just firing out a real nice compliment saying, wow, looking absolutely gorgeous, gentlemen. Thanks, Double A. We'll take that.
Very thoughtful.
Okay.
Brownie's never looked better.
Okay, let's get to our Ukan Youth Services Relentless player. And reminder that Ukan is a local charity that helps vulnerable youth find employment. They've got a comedy night fundraiser coming up. They have 6 comedy nights coming up in March. They're so much fun. They're inspiring. They're a blast. Highly recommend it. They've still got some tables and some individual tickets available. So go to ukan.ca for more information and to grab your tickets. Tell them Got Your Back sent you. You will score 20% off as well. And all the proceeds go directly towards helping our youth right here in our community. Strud's Relentless Player of the Night.
Well, this is probably the one of the year. We're going to go with the guy who hammered home 6 assists tonight, and he was on it. You know, he was forechecking hard. He was, even Chris Knoblock singled him out, said he's one of the only players who skated for a full 60 minutes. So, Connor, I think this is his first time, which is probably a little bit shady.
Remiss on our part. Well, we try not to be too obvious with it, right?
Yeah, but I don't know that there's been this clear night for him, and that's kind of weird, actually, and a little bit disrespectful, I think, in some ways.
Brownie, when you can say that about the most skilled player on the planet, that he is relentless in that way. When the most skilled player on the planet is the hardest working player on a given night, you're going to have special stuff happen.
You are, and not all superstars have the same work ethic as Connor McDavid. It's scary, his work ethic. And I know that every time they interview a teammate, they not just talk about his greatness on the ice or what he did in the game. They talk about his preparation. They talk about his practice habits. They talk about what he's like in the gym. He has all this God-given skill, and then he adds to it with the competitive nature and his willingness to put in the work. So when you have all those things going at the same time, and he did tonight, he is the most relentless player in the National Hockey League. There's nobody that digs after a puck or chases down a puck. I don't know if I've ever seen him quit on a shift. And that's what's tough for the players that he's playing, especially the opposition defensemen. They think, okay, I've got a breather now, and all of a sudden, like Sider tonight, here comes McDavid and steals it. So there's a lot of reasons he's the greatest in the world, and his work ethic has got to be near the top of the list.
A reminder that Rob Brown's appearance is brought to you by our friends at Kinprint, helping you push your business brand to the next level. Visit kinprint.ca. Brownie, you finally got your hat, and now you're not on camera to show it to us.
I'm wearing it, though. I do look good. I'm looking at myself in the rearview mirror. I look really good in my new hat. Got it on backwards, got GYB on the front. It looks sharp.
Fantastic. And a reminder that a little bit later on in the podcast, we will be doing another hat giveaway, courtesy our friends over at DeBoers and Kinprint. Quick commercial break. Lots more to break down in the game, though. Our takeaway segment is coming up. Say goodbye to unruly hair and hello to a smooth and silky back in minutes with Backscape. Shave your back solo with no mess with Backscape's water-resistant long handle and patented 6-blade design, leaving you with a no-mess shaving experience all in less than 5 minutes. Shop now for 40% off select kits just for you, our Got Your Back listeners, and make 2024 your year to elevate your grooming routine.
Time to talk about your mortgage? It doesn't have to be a daunting conversation. With over 16 years in the industry, Maria Gallus, with Maximum Mortgages, knows how to make it easy. With access to dozens of different lenders, let Maria customize the perfect solution for you. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or renewing, or a first-time buyer, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you feeling confident you're in great hands, making informed decisions. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
Time now for our takeaways. Excuse me, brought to you by Redefined Health, where they specialize in total body and mind wellness. From chiropractic and massage care treatments to acupuncture, soft tissue therapy, nutrition, even an on-site registered psychologist, they are there to help you get and stay well, healthy for a lifetime. Visit Dr. Tyler Fix and his great staff over at redefinedhealth.com is the website. So it was bad in the second period, all kinds of odd man rushes. The Oilers were, as I think Chris Knoblock talked about, them being as porous in that second period and giving up more odd man rushes than they had, through most of the month of January. It was bad. And so the players do their part, Struds, to adjust themselves, adjust their thinking. But there were also tweaks that Chris Knoblock made. He started it kind of in the second period and then made some more in the third period. I don't know. Is it just me, or does he seem to have a pretty good touch for subtle tweaks that seem to elicit some good results?
I think we talked about the other night that, the line of Fogle along with McLeod and Holloway, there's not a lot of hockey plays being made, or not enough, I should say. And there's not that guy that can go in there and kind of tie it all together. And Perry did it with him when they're with those two guys. The line looked a lot different. So tonight he makes the change to bring Perry back down and then bump up Holloway. And I know somewhere you were patting yourself on the back. I could hear the pats talking about it. Okay?
I just, you know what I said? I said, Backscape, stay smooth, gentlemen, when I saw that happen.
So Holloway brings a lot of speed, a lot of jump, and a lot of just energy to Draisaitl's line. And Draisaitl's going to have to shape that and work with him for however long they're together. But when you have Corey Perry drop back down that line, it just gives that line a little bit more, just like flavor and the ability to make plays and not just skate around at top speed. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's another part of the game they can explore when they're in the offensive zone, Brownie.
Well, yeah, and I think it had more to do with the third line than to do with the second line. I think that they needed some veteran savvy on their third line. It wasn't doing a lot. Fogle seems a shell of himself, is what we saw over the last month and a half. And the Oilers were, they were defending whenever the third and fourth lines came out. They were losing any momentum that the McDavid line had started for them. So, and they actually flip-flopped a little bit more. There was a couple shifts. It was Gagne playing center with Perry and McLeod. McLeod moved to the wing. So Knoblock didn't like what he saw, but I agree with you, Shoggy, that Knoblock has a really good finger on the pulse of this team. He knows when he needs to make a change. He reads which players are doing things right that need to be moved up. He sees the guys that, okay, this guy's having an off night, we're going to move him down. And everything that he's done so far has been successful. So as much as you give credit to the Oilers in the third period, and certainly for Connor McDavid, Chris Knoblock making those subtle moves. I mean, Holloway, his first shift moving up, he scored a goal. So good on Knoblock reading the situation and making the moves that needed to be done.
I will disagree with you, though. Not everything he's done has worked. When he flip-flopped all 3 D pairings, there wasn't much of that worked. Although, again, that doesn't...
true.
Yeah, but that just felt so not him. So I can't help but wonder if maybe it was about taking a look at some different pairings in case of potential trades, and maybe he's working with management on that. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that one is. Connor McDavid, I asked him post-game about the subtle touches that his coach seems to have. Here's McDavid from the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
He's got a great feel for the game. He's a calm presence on the bench. I think you guys can see that. And, but tonight he was a little bit... obviously wasn't loving where the game was going. None of us were. So sometimes you need to tweak it a little bit. And I thought his little tweaks worked, and that's a sign of a good coach.
The other part of it that I like tonight, Struds, Warren Foegele, pivotal point in the game, really bad turnover off the wall, unnecessary, turns into a scoring chance. Didn't bench him for the rest of the game, didn't hammer him, but flip-flopped him off that line. Foegele found himself on the 4th line almost immediately after that. So some accountability, and that resonates across a bench.
Connor McDavid talked about it post-game. He said, you guys don't always see it, but he has a way of keeping this group accountable. And it's subtle. And, when you're on a line and all of a sudden you're not on that line anymore, unless you're going up, you're not happy. You know that it's not like things are going well if you're going down the lineup. And so I think that for Foegele, it's like, hey, man, like this isn't work. This isn't the way we do things on this team. Let's find another way of doing it. So, yeah, Brownie's point about Foegele is right. He has been pretty quiet lately, and, it's not helping, the team and not helping himself at all.
Yeah.
Well, what you like about
go ahead, Brownie. Yeah, go ahead.
What you like about it, too, is when Foegele was playing well, he was promoted and got to play on Leon's line. And when Foegele has started to struggle, he's moved himself down. So as a player, you appreciate when you're playing well, you get rewarded for it. But you also got to accept accountability when it goes the other way. That's all you want as a player. That's all you want, and we're seeing that with Chris Knoblock.
Struds, you wanted to make mention of Klim Kostin, now a member of the Detroit Red Wings. Looked like he got a little banged up late in that game, but he's not having the best year here, Struds, and I will give you credit, right? We both get a tremendous amount dead wrong on this pod and on this show. We do, both of us. We own that. Every once in a while, though, there's a little gem, and I do recall you talking about Kostin, almost wanting to give him some career advice, and if I recall, the advice was, don't chase the money. Stay with an organization that you finally have some traction with. And it's been an interesting year for him.
Yeah, it's tough. And I don't say this because I'm gloating. I kind of could see it coming down the line. It's very difficult to break into NHL and then just get a foothold when you're not like a super high driving person where they're like, hey, we need this guy. So he got a little bit of traction, and it sounded like the money was going to be an issue. So they moved him along with Yamamoto to Detroit. And then he got his contract he wanted. And I said it before, I said it, I'm saying it at the time and saying it again now, is that when you move, they don't know you. They don't know how you're going to fit in. They're not sure what's going to happen. And for quite a bit of this year, he's been the guy on the outside looking in. If you look at his time on ice, it's dropped by, almost 2 minutes, a minute and a half to 2 minutes a night of ice time. He hasn't played all the games. He would have been a healthy scratch tonight if there hadn't been a player who stayed back in Detroit for it. And he doesn't look like the same guy. He's not that same energy. So he's in danger. Who knows what happens this summer? Now there's time to turn his game around. But that's the risk when you're a young player and you find a little bit of a toehold, and then you can get a chance to jump up and take more cash and you go somewhere else, or you want more cash. It doesn't always happen, because what can happen, actually, you make more money short term, but long term, you end up going back to whatever league, Russia or whatever it is, because it doesn't work out, guys.
Brownie, thought on Kostin? You still there? Calling Brownie?
Yeah, no, I was just having a little nap. Struds was talking. No, just kidding, Strudsy. But I agree with everything that Struds said on that. He was a fan favorite here. He was a player favorite. He had a role here. Now, he wasn't going to get the money he wanted, but he had a role. He'd be in the lineup every day. Do they go and get Corey Perry if they have a Kostin already here? Because that's an agitating type of player. Yeah, he went somewhere else and was. Kostin is a fourth line player that can disturb. I think when he thought he was going to Detroit, that not only was it the money, but all of a sudden I'm going to be top 6 or top 9. That's not who he is, and I think that you see that he's not getting the ice time. That's not the player. He could have been here in Edmonton. He could have there's fan clubs in Edmonton right that loved Klim Kostin. I got buddies that got his jersey, and he left, and it has not been a very good year for Klim Kostin.
For sure. How concerned are you, Struds, about the fourth line?
I am concerned about it. But let's talk post trade deadline and then see how concerned we are then. I think that there's got to be moves being made. And I like I said, I feel that someone from the second or third line is going to be pushed down, and that'll, bolster that spot. And I think they're going to trade for another player. Probably a center would make sense. And then that line looks completely different than it does now, So, it is a concern because it doesn't seem like anything's just fitting just right just yet.
Yeah. Brownie, 2 new players on the fourth line when the playoffs start. And by new players, I mean not new to the team necessarily, but guys that aren't on the fourth line right now.
See, cause I think there's not a concern with the fourth line simply because management knows that their fourth line is not good enough. So they know they have to fix it. I think the concern would be if this was March 8th or whatever after the deadline, then you're like, oh, okay, now we got to go against LA's fourth line. Ooh, we got to go against Vegas's fourth line. Then it would be a concern. But I think that with what we've seen from the bottom 6 at times over the last little while, what we've seen with the line juggling, bringing Gagne back into the lineup, things that the coaches have said about the fact we need more out of them offensively, I think that they know that there needs to be an upgrade. And again, I agree with Struds where, you know what, maybe they get the top 6 winger, and then Perry drops down, and then Fogle drops down, and then they go get another guy. I do believe a centerman. I mean, that everyone wants a centerman, a right-handed fourth line quality type of guy. But I think that the Edmonton Oilers and their management realize now that the fourth line players that they have right now might not be strong enough going forward when you have to go through LA and Vegas in the playoffs. Or even the Vancouver Canucks. They get top to bottom. They've got 4 solid lines too. So the Edmonton Oilers know they got to upgrade.
Priority is up front. I know there's a lot of talk about the blue line, but thoroughly believe that the priority is in adding some depth to this group up front because the blue line continues to play pretty darn well. And I definitely think they're going to look to tinker with the blue line, but I think the major adds will be up front. Brownie, thanks so much, buddy.
It's been an absolute pleasure. You two have a wonderful evening.
All right. Sounds good, pal. That is Rob Brown from his car. Sherry Frazee Struds on the stream. Going full Sherry Frazee tonight. Says, woo, got your back is amazing. Just love you guys with a couple of big hearts. So Sherry's just going to Sherry on the podcast, buddy.
Thank you. That's really nice. That's really nice, Sherry. I love it.
Yeah. Always just this glowing bastion of positivity while everybody else argues about Ryan. There's an argument happening about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the stream tonight. I love the Weiss Johnson YouTube stream. When we come back, lots more to come. We're going to give away a hat. We got Strudy World, and we're going to take a lap next. So stay with us. Very short break. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. The Edmonton Sport and Social Club's spring season is set to go in May, and registration is just around the corner. Team up with your pals to play in slow pitch, beach volleyball, outdoor soccer, ultimate frisbee, and even cornhole leagues to keep the spring months full of excitement. Spring leagues begin in May. Registration opens on February 8th. Visit edmontonsportsclub.com for more details. Time now to take a lap, brought to you by Backscape. Bid farewell to unwanted back hair solo in just 5 minutes with the fastest growing male grooming tool on the planet. There's Brownie demonstrating how to use it. With Backscape's water-resistant and rechargeable long handle, you can shave independently in any direction. No cuts, no scrapes, no bumps or mess. It's backscape.com. That's bakscape.com. And choose from a variety of packages delivered right to your door. It is Backscape. Stay smooth, gentlemen. Strudy, let's take a lap, buddy. Where are we going?
Well, it's a huge story. Everyone's been talking about Morgan Rielly. Finally find out he's going to be suspended for 5 games. So the top defenseman of Toronto and one of the leaders in that point getting is out 25 minutes a night. And who steps up in his spot? The schedule they have isn't Murderers Row, Flyers, Ducks. The 5th game is against, I think there's St. Louis in there, Arizona. And then the 5th game is against Vegas, which we know is a good team. We've seen them play recently. So it's not outrageously brutal schedule, but they're in a dogfight. They're trying, they're a playoff team for sure, but they got to try to get out of that. I think that what the wild card spot they probably don't want. So I understand the 5 games. I don't know if that's exactly where it's at. I might have seen a little bit lighter, but it doesn't matter. The league saw it as 5, and so he's sitting.
Pushing the story forward, there was already a lot of pressure on Brad Treliving to improve this blue line. But where they're at in the standings, do you let a 5-game suspension to your best defenseman increase your sense of urgency to pull the trigger? Like, he's got deals on the go. He's negotiating right now. I want to give you that. I won't give you this, right? He's probably holding the line on a few trades. The other team wants a little bit of a better pick or a little bit of this, and you're holding the line. Does a 5-game suspension at a pivotal point to your best defenseman cause you to maybe let loose and get this done sooner, Struds?
Tough, because everyone knows that you're probably more desperate now.
Yeah.
So when you see that phone ring and it's a B Treliving, you're like, oh, okay, I got him.
Yeah.
Either way, they're going to upgrade the D. Either way, if they're truly going to take a run at this thing. But I guess the flip side of that is, are they that good? Like, are they one of the top teams in the East? So how much are you willing to unload to try to, are they better than some of the teams above them? I'm not sure. I think they are.
Can he keep any powder dry? Like, can he really just keep some powder dry for the offseason and next year and go, we weren't that good this year. This wasn't the year to go. Or are they just chips in the middle? I mean, are you just chips in middle? You have to be if you're him.
We've seen this game in Edmonton before. Remember when they traded for Green and Anthony and all that?
Yeah.
Why? What's the rush? So you look at this group. Are they better than Florida, Boston, the Rangers, or Hurricanes? Are they? So at best, they're probably the 5th best team in the East. I didn't give Philly much love there, or Tampa. But are they the 5th best team in the league in the East?
In the East, yeah. Yeah, it's a fair conversation, man. It's a fair conversation.
And probably if they make it, So if they do make it to the 3rd spot, they'll have to beat Florida, then beat Boston, and then beat either Hurricanes or the Rangers. I mean, so you're going to throw a 1st rounder and some other draft picks to win a round or 2 or 3. I don't know, man. Maybe they're talented up front. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm sold.
Next up, let's look at another team in the division that got absolutely shellacked. So much for a new coach bounce.
Well, I always love looking at the scores every night, and the Kings got blasted 7-0 in Buffalo by Buffalo. And what's crazy, I believe there was only 1 power play goal for Buffalo, and Anze Kopitar wearing -6. -6. I was -5 one time. And I was almost at the end of my rope. I was not a happy guy. -6. Could you imagine you're wearing that? No, I didn't check if he was on the ice for the penalty, the power play. I didn't even want to check because I think that would just, like, I couldn't imagine being on for 7 goals against. But this poor bastard You're the captain, your team gets spanked and you're -6. Like, what did they do in Buffalo the night before?
Philip Deneau, Alex Turcotte, and Pierre-Luc Dubois all even
Mhm.
in a 7-0 loss. So,
That makes sense because you have 7. Your centerman is on for 6 goals.
yeah.
Like you're not taking his spot, right? It's not. I just can't believe it. So, anyways, that's a great outcome for the Oilers, obviously. Pushes them a little bit further. That kind of makes up for what happened the other night, and then they all carry on. But that is a long flight out. -5. I remember it happened in New York. I thought I was going to die, and then -6. I might have died.
And it was 7 goals on, I think it was like 20 some shots. 7 goals they scored on 24 shots.
Yeesh.
I didn't have a chance to see the highlights yet because I was working the game tonight, but I wonder if there were some uggos in there as well. Yeah, the LA Kings, man, I tell you, they're 2-5-3 in their last 10. They continue to tumble. Like Arizona is kind of hanging around a little bit here. Like they're 5 points back. They're 4 points back of Nashville.
Sure.
Arizona's making it kind of interesting. Seattle's still hanging in there. Calgary, like the LA Kings have gone from world beaters earlier this year to like in jeopardy to hang on to their playoff spot here.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I mean, I
imagine?
think they're a good team. I think they're a good team. Their goaltending, maybe the $1.7 million of spending on goaltending isn't enough after all. Maybe that isn't the way to go.
Oh, what a thought. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Backscape. Zuby, I forget our lineup here. We got Strudy's World coming up. We got a real quick commercial break before Strudy's World?
Yeah, break, and then Strudy's World.
All right, there you got it. Break, and then Strudy's World. Stick around.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmont Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmont.com.
If you own or operate a business, you know the value of a great employee. Just ask Schauger. Pathfind is here to help you find your next star player to help take your business to the next level. Pathfind can help with recruitment, career transition, leadership coaching. They truly have your whole team covered. Building you a championship caliber roster, find your team's path forward at pathfind.ca. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
God, I look good.
Let's get to Strudy's World, shall we? Brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products, locations in Calgary and Edmonton. If you're a contracting business or a contractor yourself, let DLR help you add vinyl fence to your product line. See why they've been going strong since 2005. Reliable, unmatched service, high-quality North American-made products. Visit dlrvinylproducts.ca. That's my brother's company, Rick and Rob. And I got a backyard full of vinyl products. Well worth it. No sanding, staining, painting, none of that crap. It goes in and it stays fantastic. Struds, what are we talking about tonight, buddy?
So I had a buddy text me saying, why is everybody talking about the tough second period? What sequences are you talking about? Well, I've got a sequence for you. Talk about two on ones within about 12 seconds in the second period. It was about 50 minutes left to go, or 5 minutes gone in the second period. And Cody Ceci pinched up on the blue line. And Leon was supposed to kind of go behind him. He didn't completely cover him off and kind of stopped skating. All of a sudden, Kane took off. I think it was Veleno who followed up, and it was a 2-on-1. Nurse made a nice play. He dove down, took it away. It was a nice play. Now, immediately the puck goes kind of just outside the zone, and Ceci pinches, tries to jump up, pinches up again, and boom, it's another 2-on-1. So giving up two 2-on-1s within, like I said, 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever, just can't happen. And those are the plays that we saw them be challenged with early in the year. And now we saw it again in a really rough period. And those aren't skill. That is just decision-making. Is this an opportunity for me to really create offense and jump up in the rush? or is it a really high risk play with probably a really small likelihood of working out? And you got to be patient. So Cody Ceci is a guy, and everyone is praising him post game about his goals, and it was fun to see him score. But his job in this game is not to make things, when things are kind of sliding defensively, you've got to really lock it down. You can't be taking or giving more risk, putting more risk into the pile. So that sequence was pretty crazy. I watched it, and I watched the second period again after the game because I'm like, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. And it was a rough period for them defensively. Good thing is they made it out, without any damage. But those are the ones that when you hear Knoblock talk post game, those are the ones that won out of his game.
So I know Brownie gave a lot of credit to Connor McDavid for being the catalyst to turning things around, and I don't disagree with that. But I still think there's some inherent value, Struds, because I think they were really unhappy with the way that second period went because of those odd man rushes that you just described. I thought that the team's ability to correct and to turn it around in the third period, there's some maturity there, right? They haven't had great starts lately. They haven't had their best stuff early in games, but they were really mad at themselves after that second period. And the extent to which they swung it, I thought was meaningful because you're going to have to do that in the playoffs. And I thought it tells me that they're in control of their game. And yes, McDavid was huge, but a lot of the other players played a big part in that too.
Well, you're talking about kind of just adjusting yourself. Say, okay, this isn't who we are. We're better than this. Let's show everybody we're better. And not even show everybody. Let's just show ourselves we're better than this. We deserve better. And quite frankly, I thought their forecheck was, well, they made better choices defensively, but then their forecheck was on point, specifically number 97. They were just all over them. And that's the way it works, right? The best player in the world is going to take over games sometimes. Then everyone's going to follow. That's what captains do. That's what leaders do.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, you talk about the mistakes that the blue liners made, but I thought they did a good job of dialing it in and kind of smartening up. And you didn't see, I mean, at the end of the day, like I was looking at Sportlogic's numbers, the odd man rushes were still, you might disagree with these numbers. They have it 4-2 Detroit odd man rushes, but all four of those seem to come in like a few minute span in the second period.
Well, there's two of them within 15 seconds. So listen, I'm not disputing what they said, but I guess I look at it and say, it's one is bad enough in a shift. Two, you're like, holy geez. And I'm not just putting this all on Ceci and Nurse. Well, I guess Nurse was one defending, but a lot of times pinching comes from a really good place where I'm going to make the difference. I'm going to do something special. And unfortunately, it doesn't usually work out that way. The only time you have to go is when you know you're getting the puck. You have to know you're getting it. If you don't, you're not. If you're going, the forward has to reload above you. And Chris Knoblock talked about this. Reload above the D-man. So now if they get by the D-man, there's another layer they have to get through. And that's kind of the contract between forwards and D. If I'm going to pinch to keep this alive, you better, pull me out of the fire if it gets by me.
Can't let you completely off the hook tonight, Struds. Have to ask your thoughts on Darnell Nurse breaking up that 2-on-1 with a pretty well-timed slide. Like, are you coming around on this yet? You gonna be a converted coach soon?
I wouldn't really call that a slide. I would say the more he just jumped right on that puck and just took it away.
That was a slide.
It was a nice play. But then you fast forward to the goal a little while later where he was on his knees in the slot or right in front. That one I'm not sure I love. I understand what he's trying to do there, and maybe he confronts that player that walks out of the corner a little bit more harshly. But yeah, and I saw it. I had a few people tweet at me saying, "Oh, what about this play?" And I get it, but it's he timed it perfectly. He slid, so the player had no options. What I don't like is when it's like a wide 2-on-1 and a guy just drops down in the middle, and now you're just like a dead fish out of water.
Yeah, fair enough. It was a nice play, though, for sure. And,
great play.
And Nurse did a good job there. I thought Nurse had some good moments in this game tonight, for sure. Okay, that was Strudy World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. When we come back, going to give away a hat. Love giving away the Got Your Back swag here on the podcast. So we'll give you a quick trivia question, and then you send us an email. Name goes into a draw if you get it right. So hat giveaway. Ask us anything as well. Coming up after very quick message here from Belvedere Golf and Country Club. If you haven't had a chance to see it before, check it out, man. Beautiful course. For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com. Yes, been laying a beating on Jack Michaels regularly out at Belvedere over the last couple of seasons. Struds, I think we'll have to get out for another round so Jack can redeem himself this summer.
Yeah, the redemption tour.
The Jack Michaels Redemption Golf Tour. So Manuel Opel won our draw the other night for a hat. So that's 3 now we've given away on the podcast. So glad we finally have them, courtesy our friends at Kinprint. So let's do our Kinprint De Boers giveaway. And a reminder that you'll have to go pick up the hat at De Boers. And they're also going to throw in a $25 store credit for you. So when you go pick up your hat, save a little extra time because De Boers is going to hook you up with $25 in store credit, aiming to help you play better golf with fitting, instruction, after-sales support, and golf merchandise and clothing as well. De Boers celebrating 25 years. Check out their pro shop, 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. The trivia question, and again, send your answers to gotyourback18@gmail.com. Fairly easy one here for you, but that's the idea. Who leads the Western Conference in blocked shots this season? So who leads the Western Conference in blocked shots this season? You can head over to the NHL stats page and search that up pretty easily. Once again, send your response to gotyourback18@gmail.com. And if you get it right, you'll go into a draw to win a Got Your Back hat and $25 of store credit over at De Boers. Zuby, we can't bring your video in tonight, buddy. So I don't know, you got some new technology or something that didn't work great. So you're just going to be a voice tonight? Is that correct?
I think it came around. Let's see.
Here
I am.
There he is.
Whoa.
I'm moving and everything. It's really great. No, it was giving me issues, but it sort of seemed to sort itself out. So
I would have brought you in sooner into the podcast. I thought that you were a non-entity tonight.
No
but yet
problem.
Here you are.
Nobody needs to see this face. It's all good.
By the way, Struds, we haven't made a big enough deal of it. Are you noticing the changes in Zuby's background? Like he's going next level with the background. Can you see that?
Very nice. Very nice.
I got my Kingpin poster here and my Major League poster up here. I got those printed on their like canvases with a little bit of depth. They came out really nice. They're just like some fan art that I altered a little bit and got them set up. And
I don't know how I feel about you having a nicer set than I have. I'm the host. I'm the brains behind this thing.
Where did your lights? You made a nice comment about my little lights. Where did your lights go? You were the
I got to get them sorted out. I took the big light down. I actually ordered some. So Struds, we need to get you a shelf and we need to get you some lights too, Struds. We got to up your game a little, buds.
Okay, well, I guess Magic and Mess might disagree with that, but we can talk about it.
You know what I could see is like
third?
an LED light, like a halo, like we'll do an outline of Struds, like his profile here, and he'd just be like sitting there with a glow, just a big glow behind him.
Okay, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. If you've only got time for one before the game, make it a frosty 25-ouncer at Match Ice District. Enjoy their supersized steins on select beers. Match Eatery and Public House is located adjacent to Rogers Place in Grand Villa Casino. For more information, visit matchpub.com. Wanted to get to a question here on the stream real quick. Saber Cove says, hey, Zuby, for Ask Us Anything, curious if the team has considered a separate channel once a week talking about everything going on in the NHL. That coming to us from Saber Cove. Well, Saber Cove, and to folks who consume us on podcasts, you might have noticed that once a week, we also have a Got Your Back NHL edition. That is with myself, Pierre Lebrun, and Mike Johnson. Every once in a while, if Jason Strudwick's been extra strong on the local pod, we give him an appearance on the national one too. So we normally drop those on Wednesday. We're going to drop that tomorrow morning as well. You can follow us. We've got a separate podcast feed, Got Your Back NHL, Rishaug, or LeBron and Rishaug. But then we also drop it as a bonus episode on this feed as well. So if you ever notice a bonus episode on this local feed, that is our national podcast where we talk about things across the league. Enough shameless self-promotion, Zuby. What are people saying?
I think also maybe he was wondering if maybe just on a quiet Sunday or whatever, we'd do like taking a lap, a full episode of Taking a Lap. We'll go.
Oh,
no, I know that was I had that set aside. I was gonna pull that answer too, but maybe he was hoping for an extended Taking a Lap more than our just.
Where we actually shave our backs while we're doing the segment.
Okay, let's this Nuge conversation has been going on all night, so I can't possibly pull. I can't possibly pull every clip, but let me just kind of see if I can lay something out for you guys. Basically, there's a small contingent, Ahmed and Bob's your uncle, who feel like Nuge would be a better contributor. He's better suited to be the third line center, or Ahmed's putting him on the wing for some reason. But that's basically where it started, was that they felt Nuge is a better fit or would contribute more, is more helpful to helping this team win, especially in the long term on the third line. Most other people are sort of against that. The one comment that was made is someone thinks they could get Brown. Nuge would help get Brown scoring. People were envisioning a third line of Nuge, McLeod, and Perry. That was from Shane Matheson. So what do you guys think about, as a natural center, stretching out your three lines with the centers that way? Good idea, bad idea?
Go ahead, Struds.
Well, my first question would be who replaced them on the top line, and that's a big one. Number two, I do think Nuge is a good center, and I think you put him on the third line. I think that does help bounce it out. But you're robbing what was one of the hottest lines in the NHL to build up your third line. I think there's a different road to that same end.
Yeah, just to partake in the exercise, I'm trying to quickly jot down the best lines I can think of that include Nuge and Hopkins as the third center. So let's run through that really quick, Struds. What would it be? Like, your point, who would go left side with McDavid and Hyman? Are you looking at Diego Dylan Holloway up there? You go Ryan McLeod?
Yeah, no, he'd probably probably McLeod, I guess.
Okay, so you want to go McLeod there? Okay, let's go McLeod, McDavid, and Hyman. Kane, Draisaitl, and what are we doing over there?
Either Perry or Holloway, I guess.
Perry, Holloway. So then Nuge. And what were they saying that line would be?
The one line was Nuge with McLeod and Nuge with McLeod and Perry. And then there was someone else saying leaving Brown there.
Yeah. And I don't know that Nuge is going to get Brown go. I don't know. I mean, I understand it. I understand the idea of the three-headed monster, but the Oilers have never had the wingers to sustain the three-headed monster for any length of time, Struds, which fundamentally makes it just not sustainable.
Yeah, you can get that look. I mean, if they want to show that look, sure, at some point you might want to try it out. But I just look at it. I just don't think that now is the time to make that move. I guess if not now, win. But I just have a hard time thinking who's going to play on that top line. And who's
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is he's a fantastic compliment to Connor McDavid 100%. when he's playing. Like it works. It just works, and it works with Hyman too. So I don't hate the idea of the three-headed monster. The Oilers just don't have the depth on the wing right now. Let's move on from that, Zoobs.
Sure. Okay. Neil Garrity said watching Derek Ryan take D-zone faceoffs tonight made me want Jeff Carter more. I don't know if you have a comment on actually getting Jeff Carter or just kind of on Derek Ryan's game tonight, Struddy.
Well, I love Jeff Carter, but I don't know that I want more speed in that bottom six. And I recognize that wasn't how I played, but I'd like to have a lot more speed. And I think that that's something that when you look at the playoffs, how quick it gets, I don't think Jeff Carter is at that point anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And to the point on Derek Ryan, like, close your eyes, Oiler fan, and envision game one of the Stanley Cup final. And the Oilers are there, and you're happy, and you're looking forward to it. Is Derek Ryan your fourth line center? Is he in the lineup? Like, and I don't want to be disrespectful. He works his butt off out there. He's well liked in the room. But when you get to where you want to go, can he sustain the pace that's going to be required in a Stanley Cup final? And I think it's more than fair to question that. And I do think the Oilers are going to look to upgrade that. So we've listed off a bunch of potential options in recent nights, whether it's Dowd, whether it's Carrick out of Anaheim, there's a few options out there, but a little more size, hopefully not too sluggish Struds, but somebody that adds some size and speed and a little bit of physicality.
I think Derek Ryan has a story to weave in this team. Like he's last year he helped the team. I think this year he's helping them, and I think he's the Swiss Army that kind of moves around the lineup. He's so smart. I think he's easy to play with. When I see him, he seems to be very to help people out. So I don't think that the story ends if they trade for a fourth line center for Derek Ryan. I think he'll be the guy. They'll move around and
he can play the wing. Like some of his best hockey has been on the wing.
100%. Yeah. So it just, people have to think about that. It's not like it ends for him. And I think he's very likable guy. I know him. It's a great guy, but the story doesn't end if they trade for a fourth line center. That looks different. So I think we have to just keep that in mind. Everyone has, I think on this team, the deeper you go in the playoffs, everyone is going to get a chance to kind of ring the bell for this group in different ways that they contribute. And Derek Ryan will definitely be ringing that bell.
Couple questions on the stream. Want the email address again? It's gotyourback, GOTYERBACK. So gotyourback18@gmail.com if you want to get an entry in to try and win one of our Got Your Back hats.
Austin Peterson says, question for the chat. Was the big moment of the night Holloway's goal? Did that incredible effort to give the Oilers the lead at that point in the game jumpstart the rest of the team to finish the game?
I did, because he came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He came out of nowhere and he almost killed the captain. And I love Connor's response after the game. He's like, what do you call him? He's like a raging bull or something like that.
Yeah, a bull in a china shop.
A bull in a china shop.
Kind of a bull in a china shop.
And it's funny because see when Holloway is in the corner, he kind of looks up and he looks like, okay, it looks like 97's all right. Everything's okay. Yeah. I scored a goal, but I killed our captain.
Yeah. I thought that penalty kill was a pretty big moment as well.
Yeah, good point.
Didn't give him a chance to get back into it. Couple more, Zuby, then we'll wrap this thing up.
Okay. K. Gale says the Oilers have been scouting Philly a lot and they've been scouting Edmonton a lot. Scott Lawton and Walker / Sealer will be Oilers. He's calling a shot. I just have to say, though, I keep receipts. I want to make sure that K. Gale said when we reviewed the new D pairings, he said, I think Struddy and Brownie are overthinking this, Ryan. We won't see these pairs tomorrow. Mark my words. So just anyone on the chat know I keep receipts. K. Gale was way off on that one. But he's predicting that the Oilers are getting Scott Lawton and one of Sealer or Walker. Any chatter on that, Ryan, beyond?
Yeah. There's no question that the Oilers would be right in the middle of it with Philadelphia. And it's funny because Philly's they're in the fight. They're in the fight. But John Tortorella recently even said publicly, we know what we are. They got to kind of run this funny balance of trying to make the playoffs and trying to get there, but also understanding we are where we are as an organization and they're going to make changes. So I don't think Danny Briere is letting where the team is at in the standings mess with the big picture. So there's no question there are players available. Both Sealer and Walker make sense to a degree for the Oilers. Certainly up front, Lawton does to a degree as well. So I definitely think there's interest there. Struds, I don't know, buddy. What does this blue line need, man? Do they need to add another regular or do they need to add somebody in case one of the regulars gets hurt? It's a huge fundamental question. Do you got to swap out one of the six that they're rolling all season here?
I still think they need a player that can deliver the puck like Bouchard delivers the pucks to the forwards. And
so that'd be more a Walker type.
So I go back and look at the Vegas last year. If I'm correct, I believe Shea Theodore and Pietrangelo are different pairings. And those guys, so those players were, 45 minutes a night, we're getting that puck delivered to them from those guys. The best passing guy for the Oilers is Bouchard. Ekholm's pretty good. And not that the other guys are bad, but that's just not their strength. It's not what they do. So especially when you compare them to Theodore and Pietrangelo. So I would like to see a guy that can deliver the puck to them with tempo, with pace, and when they want it. I don't know who that. I'm not sure that's
who are you replacing. Who are you replacing?
Well, I mean, Nurse isn't going anywhere. Neither is Ekimor Bouchard. So I think by the process of elimination,
Kulak or Ceci.
Yeah, and the reality is those guys aren't playing badly. It's just that that's not what they do, and that's if you're pushing, you need to find something to help deliver that puck up. Now, who is that guy? What does that look like? And that's
okay. If you wanted to increase your puck moving ability, right? So Walker, there's some more offense there. If you were to do a deal with Philadelphia and you got them to retain, and you moved Ceci, now you've changed the shape of your blue line. You could argue, like Gregor makes a point all the time, that it wouldn't be enough of an upgrade. But if you got them to retain, there's already a difference in salary there. Now you've opened, so you've changed the shape of your blue line with more of a puck mover, and you've opened up some space to help you help yourself in other areas. And I think that's the type of deal where you try and, it's nothing against Ceci, because he's been a good, honest player on this team, and he's earned the money that they have paid him. But that would be a way to change the shape of the blue line and open up some cap space at the same time.
I'm not sure that he's that much of a better puck mover than Kulak or Ceci. Are we like, he's not Bouchard? So is he closer to Bouchard or closer to Ceci and Kulak? That's my question, because you're getting smaller, and you look at his numbers. His numbers, compared to Kulak's top, they're not that much different. I know this year he's having a good year, but I'm not saying he's the wrong guy, but I wonder if there's not a better guy out there that really makes, because again, no one's comparing Sean Walker to Pietrangelo or Shea Theodore.
No. And that's definitely not the point that I'm making, but it's like,
I know. No, I get that.
It's about swapping one guy out for another guy that has maybe a little bit of a different dynamic, but also gives you an opportunity to save some money potentially, right? So anyways, there's lots of possibilities. Zuby, let's do one more and then let's get out of here.
I got a fun one to wrap up with here. On the Cody Ceci discussion with him getting his first goal in however long tonight, Rye Guy said, I bet Strudy still remembers all 13 goals he scored in the NHL. Now, that was all he said. I'm going to put a question on it. How many, for real, of those 13 goals, how many of them could you describe in reasonable detail if you thought about it? And will you do one for us right now? Can you give us one that's so memorable?
Well, off the top of my head, they're pretty spread out over the years, so I don't think I remember all of them. But and then you remember those special ones where you score in overtime, like whatever. I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to the pod has scored in overtime now. But the one I remember that it was really funny. We were playing Detroit with their heyday. Dominic Hasek was in net, and we won a face-off back to me, and I just shot it at the net, and all of a sudden, people were cheering. I'm like, oh, what happened? And I scored a goal. And I had no idea. I didn't see it go in. I didn't know what was going on. And everyone's cheering me on. And like, I didn't even see it go in. So I didn't know if I got it. I don't think I've ever seen the replay of it actually either. So that's just pure luck. Just pure dumb luck is all that was.
Are your kids interested in your highlights, Struds? Do they go back and look and you talk to them about it? Are they impressed? Are they impressed with Daddy Struddy?
Every now and then they'll pull out a fight and they're like, what were you doing? I'm like, it's just, whatever. These things happen, right? But there's not a lot of my goal highlights on there. Maybe the overtime winner, I guess, if it's on. But yeah, it is funny. Even when their friends come over, they'll be like, we watched some of your things. You were really angry. I wasn't that angry. Just trying to get work done.
One of my scraps from Junior made it to YouTube. I just got filled in something fierce. And my kids got a hold of that. And it wasn't, I immediately had to go like searching for some other ones where maybe I at least survived. That one was no good. So I wish that one wasn't out there, but it is out there. All right. That was Ask Us Anything by Match Eatery and Public House. As we wrap up the podcast tonight, wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Lots of hearts coming in across the stream. Leaky 37 with Valentine's hearts. Sherry Frazzy with Valentine's hearts. And bunch of other emojis that just keep the Weiss Johnson Twitter stream so colorful and active. We get to our gem of the day. I'm going to pull rank here, bud, and I'm just going to go back to the Jack Michaels tweet. Zuby, can we pull that one up again? Jack Michaels. So as Ceci's streak comes to an end, Strudy's will live on forever. No surprise to see Jason Strudwick on another goalless list. 136, top 3 in Canucks history. I told you, Strudy, that I would get you. Jack Michaels firing back on Twitter.
Yeah, a glancing blow. Congratulations, Jack. I'll get you
a glancing blow. That was more than a glancing blow. It was a gut punch. That was a gut punch.
A gut punch.
What's Valentine's going to look like in the Strudy house?
Very romantic, buddy. I don't want to reveal it, but it is. We're talking high level of Lance romance.
Yeah. Pulling out all the stops.
Oh yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to get started as soon as we wrap up the pod planning.
Jeez.
I love how every time I talk to Shona and she refers to you as her roommate, which I think is fantastic.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's time to just crank it up a few levels tomorrow night.
Attaboy. Well, hey, have a happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in here on the live stream. We appreciate it. Zuby, great job behind the scenes. Thanks kindly, everyone. And a reminder, we'll be on location on Thursday night for a post-game podcast. Come on down. Seriously, come on down. Check it out. I'm going to give away 3 hats that night. Got to figure out how. We'll probably do a draw or something like that. But stop by, say hello. Long Shots Lager, Oilers game. Say hi to us. It's in Sherwood Park. That is Long Shots, their location in Sherwood Park. We'll see you Thursday. Have a great night or day, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.